Good evening, Patriots, and welcome to The Better View. Happy Halloween. This is our special Halloween edition. Tricks and treats abound. I'm here with the two greatest ladies I could ever be here with. First up, Rihanna Dilley. Rihanna, how are you?
Hey, happy Halloween, Tracy. I'm still not sick of winning.
We just keep on winning. So are you dressing up for Halloween with the kiddies?
I am. I do every year, actually. It's a good chance for me to be a kid.
What are you going to be this year?
I don't even want to tell you yet. I'm so, I'm so excited. I'm just gonna have to show you tomorrow. You'll have to see tomorrow.
Oh, tune in to Rihanna's Twitter tomorrow.
Tune in. It's going to be so good.
Oh, that's awesome.
But the one year we went as superheroes and I was the pink Power Ranger. That was a fun year.
Ooh. Oh, cute. That was my favorite Power Ranger.
Mine too.
I'm going to be, I'll let you know I'm going to be in a minute because I want to ask the one and only Miss Ann Vandersteel how she's doing there in Florida.
Well, considering I'm going to be covering the Trump rally later on this evening, I figured I would dress up as a super elite Space Force Trump-supporting journalist.
Woo! I like that. That's a perfect costume for you.
Isn't it? I can just go as me. It's so easy.
I love Halloween because you can just be anything. Like, so one day of the year, like you can dress like a total tart and nobody can say anything because it's Halloween.
That's
so
right.
In that spirit, I have a party that was rescheduled because we had a nor'easter here last week. And I'm happy because I was at the walkaway march anyway, so it got rescheduled just for me. Thank you, Mother Nature. And I am going to see Cloudy Daniels, Courtney's evil sister, Cloudy. Yes.
That's awesome.
So
it's perfect because you have darker hair too.
That's right.
Well, I did. You'll have to wait and tune in, and maybe we'll post some pictures up on Twitter, and we'll put them up next week.
I can't wait.
Are you going to be carrying around a pole with you, or what exactly are your props?
I can't exactly tell you what my prop is yet, so you'll have to wait and see. But I'm
going to guess like a cameraman on one side and a lawyer on the other.
There's definitely a lawyer, and there might be a horse, maybe. Maybe.
Oh, gosh.
So, Ann, I just saw you at the most amazing weekend. I miss you already.
I know.
We had Walkaway Weekend. It was a wall-to-wall event from the gala on Friday night to the brunch on Sunday, and of course, the actual march, which you got to see here live streamed. And what was your favorite part of the weekend?
Besides having a sort of a reuniting event with you and Joey Manorino and of course Brendan Dilley, and Buzz Patterson and Bree Dale and Matt Dooley from the Power Patriots crew. Besides that, and Beans, it was really meeting 5,300 people that are now our new BFFs that we have welcomed with open arms into the MAGA movement because the stories that I heard were just sensational. I think the first person I met was the night of the gala, a lady by the name of Jeanette. I've talked about her now on several broadcasts. She came from California and she was in tears saying how important this movement was to her, not only to save her state, but because she has two sons in law enforcement living in California, and she fears for their lives because there's no respect for law and order in that state whatsoever. Let's be clear, the leadership there is mental. They welcome MS-13, they welcome illegal aliens, and they're all too happy to have the taxpayers fund it with total disrespect for law and order from the top down. So to her, it was about saving her beautiful state and about giving her sons the due respect that they deserve, considering they put their lives on the line every single day in their line of duty. So, I mean, there was just nothing about this weekend, Tracy and Rihanna, that I couldn't say was an absolutely over-the-top spectacular, completely went past and far exceeded my expectations, really.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, my hat goes off to Brandon Struck and Tracy Beans. Everything was perfect. It couldn't have been more perfect. And I know Rihanna... Sorry. Rihanna, I was just going to address you because I know you got to watch it. You unfortunately could not be with us because you had to do adulting and somebody's got to raise the kids, right?
I did. I had to adult.
Right. And your fiance, Brendan Dilley, gave a great speech. He was just totally Brendan. And what struck me was not only Brendan, but almost every speaker spoke from the heart. Nobody had notes. Nobody went up there with a prepared speech, all stuffy. Everyone spoke from the heart. And of course, me and Brendan, he's funny. He's talking about gay toasters. I mean, he was just wonderful. I want to know what it was like from your perspective watching it at home.
That's what I was going to say is thank God for technology. Thank God for Periscope, you know, for the irritations and aches and pains it may cause us. It is also really great for stuff like this because I didn't get to be in DC, but I got to almost really be there because everybody was scoping. So you're like right there in the crowd, you know. Flynn Jr. was scoping, marching right next to, who was he next to? No.
Well, that's okay because he probably was next to us at some point. Oh, well, cool people. Anyway, next to us.
Yeah, he was next to some really cool people, and he was, you know, panning around so you could see the whole crowd. And everybody was doing that. A whole bunch of people were going on scope, so you could see it from all different angles. And then you also had the really professional scopes during the speeches that were nice and stable, like a news media camera and filming the whole stage. So I got to watch the whole thing. I just plugged it into my TV and the whole family watched it. So we were just like glued to the event all day, like, ooh, this person's scoping, that one's scoping, ooh, now we get to see this. And so it was really incredible to be able to witness.
Yeah, it was something that it still touches me. I have to tell you, there were several times during the weekend that I cried, not tears of being upset, but just tears of being moved. There was a moment at the gala that I wish someone would have filmed because Tanya Roberts' daughter, and Tanya was a speaker, and her daughter's name is Kiara. She's got a beautiful voice. She sang the national anthem at the march. But she sang a gorgeous song and then invited people to come up to the dance floor. And the same-sex couples that came up, and the couples of every color under the rainbow. I mean, you're talking black, white, Asian, Latino, you know, gay, straight, undefined, everybody together like a big family. Yeah. These are the people that the mainstream media says that we hate, that we want to push back in the closet or, you know, put back in chains. It couldn't have been further from the truth. There was nothing but love the whole entire weekend. I didn't really even see any protesters. I saw one guy with a dopey sign at the march that said, you know, Trump, heal your wounded child. But those nuts are always around DC. So, you know, it was an unbelievable event the whole weekend. And this is just the start of something big. And by the way, I'm no liar. The mainstream media, those that reported it, said there were only a couple hundred people there. There were upwards of about 5,300 to 5,500 people. And it was pouring rain, right, in the morning, Ann?
Yeah, it was pouring rain. We had multiple layers on. We had all kinds of jokes about our pullover ponchos we were wearing. And you know, when we assembled at Franklin Marshall Park, Tracy, where the rain was the heaviest, that's when we saw a bunch of people that have known us on social media come up and want to take pictures with us and, you know, thank us. And really, it's kind of awkward for them to be thanking us because really I want to thank them because without them we wouldn't do what we do. We'd be talking in a vacuum. And so we, you know, it's a privilege to have our voices elevated to such that people want to hear what we have to say because maybe they're not comfortable on coming on camera. Lord knows we take a lot of slings and arrows to the face, but this movement now has embraced so many and showed so many what the love is all about that more and more people feel empowered to speak out. And that was one of the things I tried to convey to everybody when I was emceeing some of the events was, you know what, folks, pick up a Periscope, get on and start talking. And you know, your friends will hear what you have to say and go, wow, I didn't know Susie felt that way or little Johnny feels that way. Maybe I can make a comment in the Periscope and maybe next time I'll pick up a Periscope and start talking because if you're not talking and letting the world know what you're thinking and, you know, having rational, civil discussions, you know, we're not advancing the cause here and we're not advancing America first and taking care of our own, which is what, you know, Brandon Strzok's movement is all about. He's got the dialogue going and he's gotten it going with the Democrats who thought we were the evil Nazi, neocon, you know, racist crazies. They're now realizing that it's really their own leadership in their party that are the neocon, you know, fascist, crazy, socialist, mental, you know, nut jobs. They're the ones that are violent. They're the ones using divisive rhetoric and have a narrative that makes no sense in terms of supporting America first. And, you know, you talked about the dance floor. I did not realize how diverse the actual room was, because when I was talking to people and everybody was walking around talking to everybody, it wasn't like cliques.
None
I
at all.
suddenly realized I had been talking to old people, young people, wealthy people, poor people, white people, black. I didn't pay attention to any of that because we were talking about idea exchanges, and it was policies and ideology that was, you know, the center point and the focal point of the discussions. It wasn't about whether you were man, woman, black, white, pink, yellow, didn't matter. It was about, you know, the love in the room and how great this country is and where we're trying to go. And it was just such a cool thing to have that realization after the fact, that it wasn't identity politics at all. It was actually best policies for the country. Cool.
Yeah, and it was an idea exchange, like you said. I know that Pastor Burns, he does not believe in gay marriage, whereas Brandon Struck does. And we still all got along and loved each other. And that's what Walk Away is all about.
Right.
It's about respecting each other's ideas. Like maybe we have little differences here and there that we can compromise on, but we all believe in freedom of speech. We all believe in togetherness, and we all believe in one and unity. So it was really beautiful to see. Rihanna, did you have any other thoughts?
No, I think you ladies nailed it. That's what I thought was the most beautiful thing about the walk, was seeing so many different people from every background you can imagine all coming together, and maybe they all have different backgrounds or upbringings or even personal beliefs, but we're all there for the same reason and with the same kind of conviction and love for our country. And that's one of the things that is great about the movement, is it's not as divisive as the media would have you believe. It's actually very, very unifying, and we're quickly becoming the majority. They just don't want you to know that.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's really incredible, really beautiful to see. I mean, I tweeted about it the other day. I was like, I miss the days where you could respectfully disagree with each other. Like, oh, your candidate, I don't like your candidate. Oh, ha. And that was it, you know. And maybe someday soon we'll get back to that kind of dynamic. But right now we're fighting through a culture war.
I mean, personally, I have to say I'm guilty of loving fashion designer Andre Soriano.
Oh, yeah.
Me,
He was great.
Oh my gosh, he said I'm going to make him
He was
straight.
fabulous.
So yeah, he said I was going to make him straight, and he loved my dress. So I was just so excited.
Your dress was fantastic.
Thank you.
Fur with the red. Oh my God.
Thank you. It was faux. I'm good.
I figured.
All I can say is Paletta Diva lived up to her name, Diva. She was a diva that night. Just absolutely stunning. Totally stunning.
Thank you. Everybody was
taken with Tracy. Everybody.
The funniest part was when Brendan had to have told Rihanna this. So you were there, and in true diva fashion, we're getting rained on. I'm a human condom with a poncho.
Is that when you had your brush?
Yeah, and you heard that story.
Yeah.
And what do? I pop out this little brush. It's got a mirror on it. I'm doing my makeup. I'm brushing my hair, my wet hair.
Oh my God, it was priceless. It was priceless.
But even Brendan agreed. I'm high maintenance, but I'm not a pain in the butt, because I didn't complain once. I want it on record. There was no complaining. I was complete. Yes, I was in my thigh-high boots and a little fur, but you know.
No, you said you were a trooper. You had your little flag that you were waving around. I'm marching.
I was so excited. I would have made such a good hippie, you know. Like I was like, I marched that out. And you know, it was funny. And you took a picture of a woman who was reminiscent of the hippie days in the 60s, and you said it's really bad when the hippies are leaving the Democrats.
There you go. I mean, that kind of summed up the theme of the weekend, to be honest, because when you see the peace-loving hippies are like, and peace, we're out, that tells you everything you need to know about what the Democrats have become.
Now, I have to give it up to Rihanna, just switching gears a little bit. You did the most awesome painting of General Flynn. It was so different than anything I've ever seen. And what happened with that painting? Did you sell it?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so for anybody who missed it, this was just the most exciting thing. I did a painting of General Flynn. I just felt inspired by him. And I did some experimentation with palette knife on the canvas, and it turned out pretty cool. It's hard to get on camera, but it actually looks cooler in person. But General Flynn saw it, and he DM'd me and thanked me for it, and he liked it. And I was over the moon. I was freaking out. I was like about to pass out. I just looked at my phone because I had a notification and I was like, wait, what? Like it took a second to register. And then I just like, was like, skirt, ran through the house and was like sticking my phone in Brendan's face, like, oh my God. And then, and so then I was further inspired. I was like, okay, now I want to take a portion of the funds of the sale of this painting and put it towards General Flynn's defense fund, because he is what inspired me in his story and what his family is going through. True patriot. And I did sell it. It sold in one day. And I was able to make a really respectable donation to his defense fund. I was really proud of it. Actually,
that's awesome.
It's one of my highest sellers so far.
Wow, that's awesome. Good for you. Congratulations on that. And what a wonderful donation to make, because, you know, Michael Flynn, who I did not know was going to attend the march, was there, and he was hanging out with us quite a bit, and he really appreciates everything that we all do for his family. Like, he could not be more appreciative. And I believe that you have an interview with his brother coming up.
Actually, with General Flynn's brother, the youngest of the 8 Flynn children, Joe Flynn, taped an interview with me today, as a matter of fact, for Steel Truth. It'll run Thursday. I'm not going to run this show I'm taping today tonight, because I think it's going to get, you know, on the Trump rally, it's going to get lost in translation. So I'd like to make sure it gets out there, because we've got some pretty good information on the Afghan IED problem and a solution. I interviewed a bunch of flag officers, 4- and 3-star generals for that. But Joe came on camera for about 15, 20 minutes today. And we talked about just kind of what's going on in the news. We talked about Trump and his family, his whole family's support. And they are all, and we're registered Democrats. They're good Irish Catholic Democrats from Rhode Island originally. He's lived in California about 20 plus years with his family. And they walked away from the Democratic Party as well. And are big Trump supporters, and they love what the president's doing. I mean, they really, you know, from a business perspective, from a national security perspective, and of course, just, you know, the house cleaning he's doing in the swamp draining he's doing. So they have, you know, full confidence in what the president's doing. And he is the official spokesperson for the Mike Flynn Jr. Defense Fund that Rihanna so graciously donated to. And when you hear someone like him say they don't want to see the president change everything, that pretty much tells you all you need to know about where General Flynn stands on this. And Joe said he would be in his hearing on December 18th. And I said, I'll be there too, covering it. So
excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Man, you're incredible.
I know. Anne she must wear a superhero uniform underneath her clothes, because
hold on,
she really is. If there was really something under there, that would have been amazing. By the way, we should plan that.
Like a MAGA M.
Secret. My Skype address has the word Supergirl in it, and then other things. But that's pretty funny. So there is Supergirl in there. There you go.
Vander Steel, like Woman of Steels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the steel industry is back in America.
Speaking of steel,
for all of it, Steel Truth, Steel Industry, Supergirls.
I love how this all ties together, because this is like a Flynn and Flynn thing. And by the way, getting back to art for just a second, I have to ask Rihanna. I know that your daughter, Sophia, she's quite artistic, and she did this beautiful drawing of President Trump making America great again for school. Tell us what happened with that.
Yeah, she did a really amazing job. She was actually really excited about this project. So she sketched her own creative interpretation of the president. It's on my Twitter page, and she colored it in.
Can I ask you a question? What was the assignment? What was the assignment that she had?
The assignment was the class is doing a big poster for Peace and Kindness Matters. Okay. And this was Sophia's interpretation of peace and kindness. Was the picture of President Trump, and she absolutely nailed the hair and the face. And I'll tell you, that is a challenging face to try and recreate and to recreate well. And she did like a really great job. And she's 13, and you know, it's art, so it's interpretive, right? And her teacher gave her a D and wrote "interesting sketch." ...
Wow. Wow. Did she understand whose daughter she was messing with?
Clearly she did not. Clearly she does not know, but she's about to find out.
Well, so wait. So did you confront this teacher? I need to know what happened, because I think I would go ballistic. And this is coming from a teacher. I would go nuts.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to go right into the school. I was like, I'm going down there right now. And Brendan's like, no, don't do that. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll do it the corporate way. That's fine. So I called the school, got her email, sent her an email, so it's all documented, and asked her just very kindly and professionally, please provide your criteria for her grade. As a student athlete, her grades are of utmost importance to her and to us. And we need to know why she did not get points on this and what she can do to rectify it. Her teacher emailed me back, actually just before we started filming, and said that Sophia got docked points because she did not follow the assignment. The assignment was to create a poster for Peace and Kindness Matters. And if she wanted to redo it, she was welcome to. And her sketch of President Trump could just be one of her free sketches. And so I replied to that one. And I'll wait. I'll just let it unfold. You'll see. You'll see.
Well, wait a minute. You can't leave us hanging.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay. All right, fine.
You can't do that. You have to let us know.
Okay, well, there is
Twitter mystery. I gave you one. That's all.
Okay, fine. I get one. I get the Halloween costume. But this one's in progress, though. So I did respond to her, and I said that as an art teacher, I'm sure she understands that this was Sophia's creative expression of peace and human kindness matters. And I would like to see the rubric she used in which to grade this and where those 7 points off specifically came from. And that it's of utmost importance to know that this was Sophia's subject matter that she chose. It is not a free sketch. It was her understanding she was following the assignment. Please respond immediately.
Oh, this is like this actually, depending on her answer, which she needs to be very careful when she emails you back. Yes, she does. Potential to go viral. Like this is, I could see it on Fox and Friends in the morning, you know.
Yeah. And we can make that happen.
We absolutely can.
She has no idea.
It sounds like because she chose President Trump to represent peace and kindness, and the teacher disagrees with that interpretation, that's where the 7 points came off.
Precisely, Tracy.
That's wrong.
Which is why I asked for her rubric, because, and why I asked in the email, why I explained in the email that this was Sophia's artistic interpretation and expression of peace and kindness matters, because as an art teacher, it is not her job to criticize or dock points for the child's artistic expression, especially a young child of 13. Her job is to teach art, color theory, how to doodle, how to sketch, how to paint, and you leave the rest up to the children. So I'm really interested to see what she used to grade and where those points came off. And she's probably sitting there going, I don't have a rubric for this.
Yeah,
because as of yet, I haven't received an email back. So we'll see.
I'm sure she didn't have a rubric, and it was just from her brain. She decided to be gracious and give her a 65, and that's not good enough. This is the potential to go to become explosive. And does this shock you at all? Because it doesn't shock me.
No,
sadly, I'm not shocked.
Sadly, this doesn't shock me at all. And Tracy, you know, you're a teacher, so you're in the public school system. You know what goes on, and you know where you've had your, you know, personal issues and so forth, and you have always walked the line. You've never made your job political. You've never brought your political views to school. And I know in your 20 plus years of teaching, you've always been very just straight down the line, teaching history as it is, without a perspective, without, you know, prejudice or any of that. And so when you see this happen in the public school, it's really infuriating, because the idea, education is supposed to be education, it's supposed to be fact-based, objective, and that's it, not your subjective principles. And if in art especially, there's no right and wrong in art. Of course, you just don't turn in the assignment. Art is interpretive, like you said. It's subjective, like, you know, it should be, because what is beautiful to one may not be beautiful to another. What may be a good choice of medium for one may be a terrible choice of medium for another. I love oil paintings. I love knifed oil, putty, that's my preference for art. You know, I'm prefer that over stencil, over watercolor, over whatever. And for the teacher to sit here and just say, you know, basically saying that's not representative of what we were asking for, truth, peace and love and kindness. I mean, come on, that's her subjective opinion over what a child's interpretive opinion is, and that's flat out wrong, and that goes against what art's about. Perhaps maybe she needs to have a definition of art. so that she can better understand as a teacher what in fact it means to be an artist. And
perhaps I should sit down and have a conversation with her and teach her a thing or two.
There you go. I'm telling you, this is like the perfect Fox and Friends morning breakfast story, because, I've seen these stories before on Fox and Friends, and they like to bring this up and go, this is just flat out wrong and what the teacher did. So I'm really glad to see, Rihanna, that you are taking a stand and you're doing it the right way. Brendan was smart to advise, have it all documented, because, then her words cannot be misunderstood in black and white. But I do think you and Brendan should go in and have a sit down with her, and of course the principal or associate principal, and address it.
Oh, it will culminate to that point. I'm getting everything documented first, and then the next step, I'm sure I already expect what I know her response will be, and then I'm sure I will ask for that meeting and ask to have it scheduled, and then all of that's going to be in writing for that meeting. So I'm taking my rage and my increased blood pressure and I'm channeling it, and I'm just going to take the cutthroat approach, and she's either going to cooperate or she's going to end up being the subject of Fox and Friends, and her name will be out there.
And maybe in the future, she has to say, if she doesn't want it to be political on either side of the spectrum, just like I'm sure, like if somebody did a picture of Obama, it would be okay with her, but maybe she doesn't want that to be represented on the wall because she doesn't want to inflame tensions,
Right, then say no political
nothing
content, please. Right.
But I guess she wasn't expecting a 13-year-old to be so aware of the world. And
she was so triggered by it that she had to leave a comment on the grading.
That's what bothered me the most. More than the grade was the comments. Because if I put interesting next to a student's work, it's because it's not interesting to me. It means like, why did you do it? Why did you put that statement?
It's not encouraging.
Right, it's not at all.
And we all remember what it's like to be 13 and how awkward and insecure you are, and you don't really know your place in the world, and you don't really know what you're good or bad at yet. And if you're trying something new and branching out, like art is very new for Sophia. She's very comfortable with tennis. She's not comfortable with art. And so that's the kind of thing that can potentially ruin a student's future.
Absolutely. Now, I know that we're less than a week away from the midterm elections. Can you believe it? That we are this close? And I know that, the tension is getting ratcheted up to a crazy level. It reminds me of 2016 all over again. And you work really hard with Campaign Quarter, which is on the yourvoiceamerica.tv website. Any midterm predictions? Anything changed from the last time you were here?
No, not really. If anything, the Vegas odds are going up. I pulled up an article about it on midterm elections, and this, believe it or not, is in USA Today. So whatever you think of that paper, but they even start off the article where it says, "Think a blue wave is coming in the midterm election that will sweep out Republicans and usher in a democratically controlled Congress. Don't bet on it." Gamblers in online betting site are saying the opposite. So, it's out there in the online gambling world. I know in Vegas, the odds are trying to pull people in to at least bet on Democrats so they can clean up. They're trying to entice them. But frankly, the odd makers are showing that's going to be a Republican sweep. And just the data that you're seeing from the early voting. This is not exit polling where you're relying on someone to tell you how they voted. This is actual data that's coming out of the polling machines telling us how many people have voted, whether they're Republican voting, Democrats voting, who they voted for. And right now we're seeing absentee ballots, like right here in Florida, which we know is a swing state. We have one Republican senator, one Democrat senator, and the Democrat is up for re-election. Rick Scott is running to replace Bill Nelson. And the R's are outpacing the Democrats in the absentee voting by a lot. And the walk-in voting, where the Democrats were up like 115,000 votes in walk-in voting this time in the 2016 process, they're only up by 6,000 votes. 4,000 now. Let me correct myself. So this is setting up to, because we know Republicans come in day of polling almost all the time. That's when they show up. This is setting up to be a massive Republican sweep here in Florida, which is a swing state. So if you take that and you extrapolate it across the rest of the country, what you're going to see is pretty much a washout. I think we're going to go well over a +5 gain in the House. It could be as much as 10, 15 in the House. And then, of course, the Senate is going to be somewhere between 10 and 13 seats. because people are fed up. They are fed up with what we're seeing. The walkaway weekend was just a small representative of what's really happening across the country. And we know the independents are going to go conservative, because why wouldn't you? Do you want to give more of your money back in taxes for services you weren't getting? Do you want your border becoming a sieve and illegal aliens coming into our country, bringing drug-resistant diseases and violent gang members and terrorists? I mean, I just reported on the border last night, and we're going to run that piece again, where we talked to a gentleman that's part of an organization that works with our military, works with the law enforcement, works with Customs Border Patrol, and they said they pulled out already 100 members of ISIS in the caravan. So and they haven't got them all yet. So it's not like these are good people we want coming across the border. So this is what, the country is taking a look at, between Kavanaugh, the caravan, the violent rhetoric, the consumer confidence through the roof, jobs up, manufacturing up, businesses coming back, tax reform. Who on the earth would go backwards? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever when you have the left leadership out there talking violence, but talking about kicking people, talking about being, don't being civil like Hillary Clinton. And then, of course, her buffoonery statement the other day where she called all African Americans look the same. I mean, you're kidding. So it's really a nice sweep. And Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota, she's in real trouble. Tester in Montana. California looks really good for John Cox to be governor. So I mean, I think this is going to be just a real. Well, we won't be surprised, but the left is going to have the rug pulled out from underneath them.
Let me ask you a question, because you're on the ground in Florida. Does DeSantis pull it out?
Yes.
He does. Do you think it's going to be, because my prediction is he does, but we're not going to know the winner yet. Like, I think it's going to be that close in Florida. Am I wrong? Is it going to be runaway DeSantis?
It's going to be a healthy win for DeSantis. Again, if you look at the numbers of voters, where the voting is coming out now, absentee ballots far outweigh Democrats. Republicans far outweigh Democrats by like 60 or almost 70,000 votes so far in absentee. And then the walk-in voting, which early voting is typically done by Democrats. I told you the walk-in voting, they're only ahead by 4,000 votes right now, whereas this time in 2016, and the number of voters that are coming out right now to vote is equal to the presidential election year in 2016. And in 2016, the Democrats were ahead by 115,000, and we still won in Florida. We still ended up beating them on election day. So now they're only ahead by 4,000, Tracy. On election day, we're going to slaughter them. It's going to be just a complete running up the scoreboard here in Florida. And of course, all the other states where the Democrats have people sitting in red states that Trump won handily in 2016, they haven't got a prayer. They just don't.
What do you think, Rihanna? You're over in Arizona. That's another state with the media is making it sound like it's a contentious Senate race, although I think McSally's going to run away with that over Sinema. She's crazy. She's a nut job. What's your prediction for the midterm, or what's going on in your area? What do you think?
It's a runaway for McSally. I mean, she's a veteran. There's so many things that Arizona loves about her. But not only that, but Kyrsten Sinema completely alienated herself from voters by her derogatory comments. Derogatory.
Derogatory.
I was like saying degrading and derogatory.
I know, yeah. You made up a new
derogatory,
word.
Degradatory.
Degradatory. I like it. We should get that in the lexicon. Call me, Webster.
I'm having a good day with the brain, I'll tell you what. But yeah, she alienated any support she would have had, or any votership she would have had for her, with her alienating and very negative comments about voters here, calling them crazy, saying that you'll get shot in Arizona by these crazy people here. I mean, you can't call your future constituency all a bunch of nut jobs and expect us to vote for you. Even if there were Democrats out there, she's too fringe. There's not enough of a liberal base here in Arizona as compared to like New York, where you had Ocasio-Cortez win. You won't have that here. But I think that they're just trying to make it look like it's a close race. They're trying to just put fingers in the holes of all the little leaks in the boat, and just to make it look like it's not just completely, they're drowning. They're just drowning out here. And basically across the board, the entire country is fired up. So many people got pissed about Kavanaugh. And I think Brendan actually might be right. He kind of said yesterday he had this theory that everybody was thinking that the base was so fired up that Republicans were going on early voting, when we know that, as Ann said, they typically go to the polls on voting day. And he said, I don't think that's what's happening. I think these are Democrats that change their vote, or independents that change their vote and put in their early ballots, as they always do. And I think the real Republicans are still going to show up on election day, and we're going to have an absolute blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate early voting. We don't have that in New York.
I don't do it.
I wouldn't do it. I would wait until election day, because I mean, even a couple days is a lifetime in an election. You never know what information could drop. But plus I like to feel patriotic and go on election day and do it.
Get your sticker.
Yeah, you know, I've never ever gotten a sticker. My district does not have stickers. I've never had an I voted sticker. And, you know, I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to write a letter.
I have mine somewhere, but I want to just dovetail on what Rhianna said, because, you know, one of the reasons I think the media, Tracy and Rhianna, are
they're desperate.
They're trying to bolster their ratings for election night, because, you know, there's a lot of advertising and that goes on during these election night coverages. There's
very good point
on advertising, and if people think it's going to be a washout, runaway, blowout, you know, it's like, yeah, all right, we know we're winning. I'll just tune in tomorrow and go to bed early and see what happened. But for those that are political junkies like us, you're going to want to tune into Your Voice America that night, because we're going to stay up all night with the Campaign Corner crew, and they're going to cover every single race. We're going to start from the East Coast and go to the left coast, and even include our friends in Hawaii, so that we don't forget our friends in all that time zone that's 5 hours behind the East Coast. But we will cover that, you know, state by state and race by race if we have to, because there'll be some battleground races. There's at least 10 congressional battleground races and like 13 Senate battleground races, including my home state down here. So definitely going to want to do that. And it'll be with the people that you've seen before and some faces that you haven't. And you should actually get to know your Campaign Corner team, because they did an amazing job vetting, you know, 435 congressional races and Senate and gubernatorial. I mean, that was a lot of work.
Can you go ahead and tell them where to find Campaign Corner again? Because I think it's such a valuable resource for voters, because all your MAGA candidates are there and their information is there. And I think it's really important for people to know where to find that.
Yeah, thank you for asking, Rhianna. It's yourvoiceamerica.tv. And then if you click on the tab Campaign Corner, if you look, there's actually a really nice spreadsheet that highlights every single race in every single state. And the MAGA candidates are all listed there, including their social media links, their website links, in case you want to donate directly to the candidate. I mean, everything, competitive opposition research, it's all there. And the decision has been done for you. So if you're confused and not sure which one to vote for, it's right there. And it's done by people that vetted these candidates literally 7 ways to Sunday. The amount of research that went into each decision, it took them months to do. This is a labor of love.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, and these people don't get paid. They're citizens just like you and me, and they're doing it because they have patriotism in their hearts and love of country, and they just want the MAGA agenda to succeed. We can't thank them enough. I mean, you guys rock. I should say you girls plus Scott rock. And you one guy, you rock. But you know, my prediction is we definitely hold everything. I have us more. I'm more conservative, only because I'm just gonna play it on the cool side. But I'm gonna say we get at least 3 seats in the Senate, and I say that we're +5 in the House. That's the way I have it right now. Although there are races I have not called yet. So as we get closer to the election day, hopefully I'll have it narrowed down and get a more precise number. But I think that's why President Trump was announcing that he seeks to end birthright citizenship by executive order. I think that's why that came out now. It was to gin us up and excite us to get us out there. You know, so when President Trump came out with this birthright citizenship announcement, everybody on Twitter naturally became constitutional scholars and lawyers. So if you don't know what birthright citizenship is, it's a policy where the children of illegal aliens born within the geographical limits of the United States are entitled to American citizenship because mom, liberated this child from her uterus on our soil. Okay, now a lot of people will point to the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which was supposed to be for slaves and slave children, as a way of saying that it's unconstitutional for Donald Trump to do this. But Congress has already amended the 14th Amendment somewhat, not officially amended it, but in the late 19th century and in 1923, they wrote laws and the laws were signed, they wrote bills and they were signed into law, extending citizenship to the American Indians, et cetera, et cetera. So, Rihanna, what do you think about this birthright citizenship? I think ending it is amazing.
I 100% agree. I think ending it would be amazing. You know, times have changed a lot. We have an unprecedented amount of tourism and illegal immigration that we've never had here before. So, I mean, the other thing that kind of goes with that is that we don't really have a definition for
I know the phrase, the jurisdiction of the United States. That's the phrase everybody points to in the
subject to the jurisdiction thereof. We don't really have a legal definition for that. So what we really need is for Congress to kind of clarify that, which they could do without an amendment. They could do it with a statute, theoretically. So it is really a simple thing. If we get a supermajority, that's probably what could happen, rather than needing an executive order.
Yeah.
But I think that the strategy with the executive order would be, it would force SCOTUS to look at it and give us a clear definition on it, and thus because on its face, it doesn't protect illegal immigrants at all. I mean, it says it's for all persons born to naturalized citizens. And the definition legally of a naturalized citizen is somebody who legally became a citizen of the United States. Nowhere in the verbiage is are illegal immigrants protected or defined. And the intent of the amendment was never towards immigrants. Or illegal or thereafter.
Right, agreed.
You're going to have all these liberals point to the famous 1898 Supreme Court decision. It was United States versus Wong Kim Ark. This guy was born to parents who were here legally. They were legal residents.
They were permanently domiciled.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right, exactly. They were legal residents. So he goes off to China, and you have to understand at this point, California, where this guy resided, is passing all these racist laws against Chinese because the Chinese built the railroad. They settle in California and they're taking jobs away from the white man of the day that's running the government. So they start to pass all these racist laws, like you can't have long fingernails and you can't wear your hair a certain way, you can't carry water pails on your shoulders. So this guy goes to China, and on his way back, they won't let him in. So he took his case to the Supreme Court, and he won because his parents were legally here. They were legal residents. And that's what the SCOTUS decision says. It doesn't say that just because mom snuck in here illegally and gave birth to you, that you're now a citizen. So I love that he's challenging this. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the thing, and Rihanna, I'll flip it to you in a second. The thing that you keep saying over and over again is that legal. You're here legally, and what we're seeing is, of course, the left is, considering the Constitution and all of its papers associated with it to be sort of a living document that can be amended whenever and changed and bastardized in terms of interpretation, which in fact, that is what has been happening. Because even if you look at the H-1B visa program, where we are bringing in skilled labor for 6-month contracts, maybe particularly in the tech industry, right? And we've seen a lot of Indians being brought into this country. And that's where these, a lot of our immigration problems are problematic, because they come in on these visas and then they just don't adhere to the fact that they're supposed to go back after a certain period of time, and they just disappear in the country. And, now they're here, they're having children, or they're here on a visa and they have a baby here in the country, and they're saying, oh, we just put our stake in the ground, we can now become Americans because we have an anchor baby. That is not meritocracy. That is not the kind of, immigration that we should be having. We're supposed to do it legally through ports of entry. We're supposed to be evaluating. I mean, go to any other country around the world. You can't just waltz into Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, and immigrate and have a baby and stay. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way anywhere else in the world. So why on earth are we creating that environment for those to do that to us. And we're now, being left with a lot of labor, perhaps in a force that maybe we don't need. We're having, the wrong skills that are here. That's a drag on our society. That's not exactly how it's supposed to work. So our ability to be charitable is weighed down by the fact we have an increased tax burden to support these citizens that can't support themselves. And therefore, my charitable dollars are now lessened because my tax burden has gone up. And again, I love giving money to people that need actual help. But when the government's telling me that I have to help a certain population because they're here illegally, I actually have a problem with that. So I'm all for supporting the president in facilitating an amendment to a change to this amendment. But I think, Rihanna, you hit the nail on the head. We get the right Congress in, the right Senate in. We can do this through the legal process without having to use an executive order and without, I would hope the Supreme Court would review this one way or the other. But if we can do it legally, then that's even more permanent as opposed to an executive order, which the next guy can come in and overturn.
Yeah, Rihanna, you wanted to add to her statement?
Oh, I would going off what Ann said. She said you can't go into all these other countries and do this. It's true. Out of 194 countries, there are only 30 that actually participate in birthright citizenship, and the U.S. and Canada are the only two major ones that do. And there's a global trend away from it right now for good reason. And it's about time that we participate in that trend. And it's interesting to me that Democrats are so just screaming for just let them in, because if you remember that all throughout the last 20, 30 years, Democrats and Republicans both have been trying to narrow down birthright citizenship. I think it was in 1990 something, 93, that Harry Reid, Senator Harry Reid tried. And I mean, with the right Congress, they can do it, and it won't be a fiasco anymore. And I think that that's why the president is bringing it to the forefront right now. Like Tracy said, right before voting starts.
Yeah, I mean, 295,000 of the births that we had last year were anchor babies. These were children of illegal immigrants. That's 8%. 8% of the babies born that year. Who's taking care of those babies?
Right.
The taxpayers of the United States. We cannot afford it. We have to clamp down. I'm sorry. I'm a compassionate person, but when I look at this caravan coming in, I don't see very many women and children coming in here. I see a man on the morning news admitting that he was put in prison for attempted murder. That's what I saw. And I feel very bad for people who really do want to come here for a better life. Just do it the right way. So I felt like maybe by Trump putting this out there, it was just ginning up the base a bit. Because if he tries to do this by executive order, there is definitely going to be a Supreme Court fight. I'd be really interested to see how it's ruled upon, and to especially look at, how Gorsuch and Kavanaugh rule on it. Very interesting indeed. So, Anne, you alluded to the most underreported story so far of the week, which is that Hillary Clinton is a dirty racist. But we really should, we should thank Kenkles because, I'm sitting here last night and I'm watching this video clip. It's sent to me, prefaced by a warning that I won't believe my ears. And I'm like, nothing shocks me anymore. And the person that sent it to me was absolutely correct, because I'm seeing Hillary Clinton joke about how black men like Cory Booker and Eric Holder, quote unquote, all look alike. And I actually had to watch it more than once because I was like, no, I have to get the context of this. I had to look it up on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe my ears were bleeding. Considering that 40% of black voters approve of Trump, according to a new poll by Rasmussen. I mean, Brexit is happening right now. So the midterms are almost here, and it's like, Hillary thought now would be a good time to make a joke. Like that. I mean, it just, Roseanne Barr was fired for 1,240th of what Hillary Clinton said. I was going crazy. What did you think about it?
Merry Christmas early. I mean, Hillary Clinton is the gift that keeps on giving, from the basket of deplorables and the, we can't be civil with them until we're in power again, to the walk away movement, the walk away march. This is giving birth to that. It's giving birth to Blexit. Candace Owens is saying it loud and clear. David Harris Jr. is saying it loud and clear. Pastor Mark Burns is saying it loud and clear.
Yeah.
Some of the, African-American leaders, voices out there that are powerful and resonate with people, not just Black people. They resonate with everybody. Kanye West. I mean, everybody. Kanye West doesn't just have Black people that follow him and like his music. I like some Kanye West music, so this is just so incredible that she would now create another basket of deplorables by stating the fact that all Black people look alike. I mean, where is this lady's head? Frankly, I think she's lost her mind. Whatever is wrong with her, whatever that jetpack is she has underneath her clothing, whatever the boot is on her foot, something has misfired and her brain has just been shot. She really needs to step away from the mic, and the Democrats need to stop trotting her out and putting her in the public eye where there's a camera and a microphone, because she's harming the party. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, let her keep talking, because all it does is shine a bigger spotlight on the left and how insane the leadership is, and really the only sane place to be is in the MAGA movement, where the Trump car, the train is as long as the eye can see, and if you don't like the drapes in one car, just go to the next car until you find a car that you like, because we're about making America great again. We're about moving the country forward, protecting our national security, and providing jobs for everybody, and being happy. I mean, our movement is seriously happy. We're not complaining. We're having a great time. And you've got Hillary over there disparaging what she would consider to be her best voting bloc, which clearly it isn't anymore. Where, like you said, the Black approval rating for President Trump is at 40%.
Yeah.
As far as I know, that's an extinction level event for the Democrats if they vote.
100%, and this is unprecedented numbers for a Republican. This Brexit gave courage to our Black community. Walk away gave courage to our Black community, as well as our gay and other minorities. So I'm going to give Rihanna the last word on this before we do our thumbs up and thumbs down. It's obvious that whatever Hillary's suffering from has made its way to her brain. What were your thoughts on her racist comment?
I'm with you, Tracy. I had to re-watch it a few times. I was like, wow, this is way worse than the super predators thing. You really just said that out loud. And she really looked to me like somebody that was just mixed the wrong prescriptions with her gin and was just out there just in the mic, just saying what. I'm sorry, do you think that you're a token member of the Black community that you could make jokes like that? My son is half Black and I was super offended. I was like, the two people you were just talking about don't even look remotely alike. I'm sure that joke went over really well at your all-white country club back home in the South. Out here in the real world, no. Yeah, they're done. She's done.
She really I'm sure they want to lock grandma up in a closet somewhere and just take her out for Thanksgiving and other holidays or whatever satanic holiday she worships at. But the time has come for our thumbs up and thumbs down of the week. So we're gonna tell you what we liked, what we didn't like of the week. So quickly, Anne, who would you give a thumbs up and a thumbs down to this week?
This is so easy. Brandon Strauch. I mean, the movement he's created, the love and awareness he's created to so that the world can see just how beautiful the MAGA movement is and just how not racist we are and just about how positive we are. And we support everybody, but the fact of the matter is we support our president and we support the fact that he's really working hard for us to make this country great again. And he's done a fantastic job. And, we're just excited to be a part of it. And we welcome anybody that recognizes that wants to be a part of it. Thumbs down, clearly Hillary. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, she just, but at the same time, it's sort of like a thumbs up. It's thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah,
right. Thanks for helping us again. So, Rihanna, what was your thumbs up, thumbs down of the week?
My thumbs up, obviously, is Brendan Dilley speaking at the Walkaway event. We were very, very proud of him and so honored that he got to be a part of such an amazing event and that we got to be a part of it by proxy. So big thumbs up to my man for that awesome speech and for getting to be a part of that whole movement. It was so exciting. Thumbs down goes to whoever wrote that stupid article I saw trying to bring back the Russian narrative, trying to say that people are coming from Russia to stay at Trump hotels for birth tourism, speaking of the 14th Amendment, when actually a bigger problem with birth tourism as far as birthright citizenship goes comes from China. It's always China. And so China, Turkey, Nigeria, Korea, those are all places that do more birth tourism than Russia. So thumbs down for that.
Interesting. Very interesting. I did not know that. Well, my thumbs up, I have to give second everybody with Brandon Strock, Tracy Beans for putting on an amazing event. All the people that came, they came alone, some of them, but they didn't leave alone. They came back with 1,000 new friends. But I have to give a shout out. And you know that I'm from New York, so I will never compliment the Red Sox ever. Because it's my DNA not to do that, for the Yankees and Mets. But there's a Red Sox reliever. His name is Heath Hembry. And he was celebrating leaving a Los Angeles club, and TMZ was asking him about visiting the White House, and he said, yeah, I would definitely go to the White House. I love Trump. And they asked him, what's to love about Trump? And he said, everything. Like, what's not to love about the guy? So I got to give, a thumbs up to him. My thumbs down goes to Julia Yaffe, who's a frequent CNN guest and GQ magazine contributor. Basically, she went on CNN, these commentators try to go on and get the soundbite that's going to be heard around the world. Well, she went on saying that Trump radicalized more people than ISIS ever did. And there was zero pushback from Jake Tapper on this, by the way, which makes him complicit. So, ISIS killers slaughtered 137 people at the Bataclan, 20 Coptic Christians in Syria. They slaughtered a whole mess of Shiites in Mosul. They tossed about 30 gays or so off a roof in their caliphate. So how dare this person relate President Trump to ISIS when this president has destroyed ISIS? President Trump has exposed more radicals like you, Julia Yaffe, than ISIS ever did. Soros-funded Democrats, rhinos, deep staters, and people like you that are wannabe media, but you're nothing. And now your soundbite will be the best of the worst, and it will be in every election compilation video from now until 2024. So thanks a lot, Julia. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I give a shout out real quick to to Tracy Belmonte? Happy belated birthday. It was your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're looking awesome.
Of course.
Everybody go on Twitter and tell Tracy happy birthday.
I could give you a hint of how old I am. I am officially the same age as the worst president we ever had. Woo! Not that we're the same age, but he was the number that I am. So you can figure that out. So, Ann, where can people find you on social media and check out your show, Steel Truth?
Sure. You can Google Steel Truth, and you'll find me on Your Voice America and also on YouTube, and you can also find me on Twitter at Ann Vandersteel. So check it out. We've got great shows coming up.
Excellent. What about you, Rihanna? What's up?
I'm on Twitter at _Hublet, and my website's AmericanWomanTV.com.
All right. You know me. I'm Tracy Belmonte at Real Politidiva, and you can check out my website, politidiva.com, for shows and madness and just general merriment. So happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you had as great a time as we did. We'll catch you next week. Thanks.